Arts Conservatory, broadcasting live on your FM dial and streaming on KQBHLA.com. Guys, you're used to hearing me on a Sunday evening, but tonight, this is the intro. We kind of switched things up. We're only going to be on twice a month now. Thank you for everyone that has been hitting me up in the DMs. Thank you for all the great support here at KQBHLA. I love you guys. You guys have given me so much opportunity to shine and be myself, and it's just awesome that, you know, Carmelita, Michael, all you guys, Julio, everybody, I love y'all. Steph, and without further ado, let's get this show rolling. So I felt it was only appropriate that, you know, being in a primetime slot, you know, I have to bring primetime guests. This is prime time, like Neon Dion, right? You know, 95 49ers Super Bowl championship right there dancing. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be always extending the bar and the ladder a little bit closer to heaven, like I always do. You know, P.B.P. likes to come up in the mix and stir it on. And I've been honored to work with such great people. I've been honored to go to great showcases, Lighter Fluid, the Boyle Heights Tech Center here, the Boyle Heights Arts Conservatory, Long Beach Swap Meet, Exhibit, all these amazing Hangout Entertainment. My man Sabi, shout out there in Norwalk. He's cooking on his new MPC right now. We're going to break that thing in after. Don't worry, I'm coming over. But without further ado, guys, to get the new season of LA Lifestyle rolling, I want to introduce my guest tonight, Mr. Henry A.Z. out here. Look, East Coast, the Cod, right? Massachusetts?
That's right.
Yeah, the Cod. He wouldn't expect a cat out here from the West to call it the Cod.
Nah.
The Cod. Well, the only reason I know that is just simply because my brother-in-law was stationed out there at the Coast Guard base, and he told me, he's like, if you meet anybody from that southern Boston, Mass, call it the Cod. So
I don't know if you ever told me that. Did you tell me he was stationed out there?
Yeah, he lived in Salem, Massachusetts, and he was stationed at that Coast Guard base for 4 years.
No way.
Yeah, no, man, shout out, you know, and really quick, let's really quick before we get going,
Sure.
We're gonna give some flowers right now to Cyanide. Brother, I love you. You keep our waters safe. You have done so much for this country. It's amazing. Not only are you a serviceman, you're a father, you're a family man. And I'm proud to call you my brother. I love you. He was here with us every single Sunday in the first year to pretty much make our content. He really put me on game, bro. Like,
I had the chance to meet him, I think.
Yeah,
right?
you did. Yeah, you worked with him. Great guy, man. And he's, you know, he takes care of my sister, and that's the big thing is I can't, you know, that's the biggest thing. You take care of my sister, I ain't got a problem with you.
Respect.
So shout out Cyanide, bro. I just want to let you know this is your flowers, bro. And he's our full-time editor now. So he's now on the editing side of things. He's not in here. We got our boy right here, Kuya, right here behind the scenes, tapped in. But Henry, how you doing, man? I know we've had a couple run-ins recently, but since our last update, a lot of new music. I always got to hit you up and be like, bro, the bars are crazy.
Yeah, man, I appreciate
the
that.
rollout's been crazy. I know you got more coming, but just like right now, like just me myself trying to figure out you more as an artist and stuff like that. Like what's going on with you? Like, is there an album coming? Are these singles just kind of some features you're doing? What should we expect here coming up?
I think for me, it's kind of like the album has been coming. I can say that with certainty. The album has been coming, and you know, props to Juicy J for really putting me in a position where I can even say that I'm in, you know, a career path to make an album right now.
Man.
So definitely an album in the foreseeable future. But I think right now what I'm doing with these singles is I'm building the buzz, right, and I'm establishing dominance over the algorithm, because that's what you got to do as an artist.
And you know what the crazy thing is, bro? Like, I hit you up the other day and I was like, yo, that video was like, the content was great, right? It was very engaging.
Thank you.
I follow you obviously, and so I swear, like 2-3 days ago, I was like, why am I not seeing Henry like in my feed? Like, I always engage with the content, right? And that's the thing with your algorithm, and I know you and what you have built. It, like, you can go away for a little bit and then come back and like you're gonna be right there in my feed.
See, I've tried to steer away from that line of thinking. And shout out Carlo, by the way, who's sitting next to me with the camera. Costa Creates.
Hey, that last visual,
He's
bro.
amazing, man.
Crazy.
He's amazing with the visuals, and so you got to give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
I'm just making the music, right?
Hey.
At the end of the day, this is the guy who you're
makes
seeing
you
the
look pretty,
content. He
right?
makes me look real pretty, and
Yes.
so
Makes
shouts
that
to
blonde
Costa
hair
Creates,
pop.
my guy Carlo over here. But I've gotten out of the way of thinking that I can just J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar it and then go off the map for a year and then come back and you know, everybody's going to be all cool with it. Like, even if that is the truth and even if that is the case, it's not the way to develop and build a fan base and the way to treat your supporters. And so I've tried to be more consistent moving forward here.
Definitely. So with that, I saw recently, I was just checking out the new tracks you have out, the one with Dizzy Wright. You have the track that we're going to play later on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is there anything like, last question in terms of like the rollout and the releases, like a feature that people wouldn't expect? Like I'm going to wake up and open Spotify. I'll be like, oh, yo, like, is it going to catch us off guard? Like, is there something like that?
I got some stuff like that. I definitely have some stuff where you...
Because you're such a versatile artist, whether it be like freestyle or like melodic flows or just straight bars, you know, and you have, I mean, you're, you know, I've gone through your discography, you know, all the way back to when, you know, you did the Juicy J Presents that album in 2018, and then you did that little small EP track with Freddie Gibbs, Famous Dex, right? Famous Dex on that one.
Yep.
It's just like, that's where it's like, you're so versatile, and then you even too, you know, Juice found you through your freestyles. I'm a freestyler. You know, we tapped in a little bit, you know, before we went on air tonight.
Right.
And if we could talk about freestyle, what is it? Okay, my friend gave me a tip. He said it doesn't matter how you, what you say, it's how you say it. Do you agree with that? Or when you freestyle, like, what is your main approach? Like, are you just thinking of random stuff? Are you looking at stuff? Are you thinking of rhymes? Are you thinking of bars? I always like to ask another fellow freestyler this because I feel like it's cool to tap in with how that brain works, because we're already so ADHD already.
You can say that again. I think it's both. I do. I think it's both at the end of the day. And I think, like, when you want to get into it, like, how you say things is oftentimes more important than what you're saying, but you still can't be spewing nonsense, right? And that's one thing about today's hip-hop that I think we're creating a real divide here, is, like, you've got some people who are just they're not buying into the nonsense, and so it still does matter what you're saying. They're not willing to compromise the integrity of what they listen to. And you have other people who are like, man, I just care about how it's delivered, right? Like, I just care about if it sounds good with auto-tune or if it sounds good like this, whatever sounds good to their ears. And so, to me, it's both.
So for me, when I grew up, I remember, like, even my original brand, Hot 16s, right? And no association with Hobson. Shout out Hobson, though. Goated. I always learned, even with, like, Tech 9 and listening to, like, my, like, people that inspired me, Eminem, Tech 9, E40. Like, it was all about the bars, you know?
Right.
Story. Like, the beat, yeah, but that's what fools people. You could have a solid beat, but where are the bars at?
Right.
And that's where, for me, I tend, like, I think that's why I struggle as an artist even too. Like, where I'll get in on a stew sesh, I'll hear that beat, I can't even think of the beat because I'm just thinking of the bars, and I can't put the beat to the bars.
I get what you're saying now.
Where like, that's where, like, you know, one take P.B.P, it just just what you hear,
Sure.
And that's it. You don't, that's it, move on.
And you know what? I think if we're gonna hold lyricism accountable, we got 100%. We got to hold everybody accountable.
I think the thing is, bro, I remember, you know, you had your lifestyle. Shout out R.I.P. Rich Homie Quan. You know, Thugga, all that, free Thug.
Free Jeff.
Yes, of course. His lawyer is so lit. I love that guy. I like how they be getting down, like, in the briefing, like when they're talking to the.
That might lead to trouble. No comment. But
no, but I'm just saying, like, I just love it. But anyhow, for me, the lyricism is super important because, like, I'm not gonna drop names, but, like, I've been in some pretty intense, fierce competitions where, you know, they only take 3 people to move on, and it's always I get 4th or 5th place. Where then it's not my bars, it's who I am as a person. Where then people now are so eaten up by this culture, they don't look at the lyricism.
We are in a culture now where, if I might say so myself, it's very much like WWE. Everybody plays a character, and if you don't play that character,
and if you don't get in the ring and play it right,
and if you don't have a character that becomes a fan favorite, right? Like these labels are out here generating artists and what people will call industry plants to quite literally. And so I hear what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. And personality is everything. This is hip hop. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Personality is everything.
Sorry, guys. My bad.
We're experiencing some minor technical.
Yeah, we're just, it's the first night in the stew. And we're just.
Cut the man some slack, everyone.
Yeah, P.B.P just went 54 Sundays. Family. My daughter's about to turn 1. I love you, Lillian. We're about to have the best Bluey bingo birthday party. I'm so excited to play.
Happy early birthday, Lillian.
Pin the tail on the Bluey, man. That was my idea. Love you, babe. Anyhow, so back to the lyricism, though. I think what we have forgotten, even in true hip hop, bro, I've been actually getting good at. Okay, so example. The big diss. Oh, this Kendrick Drake. Okay, well, where did the sample come from? I have now, where I'm trying to get back where I can blend the beat and the bars, is how can I find through the sample, where did this originate from, type thing, where now I will go through all the samples back, you know, like 5 or 6 samples type thing, to kind of help me like co-align like what I need to be doing with my bars.
Right.
And the last thing I'll say, I'll let you get back on the rest of your answer. Pockets.
Like as in freestyle, like as in rhythm pockets.
And I'll say this. I came down here tooting my horn. I've been a freestyler. Like I'm still locked. I know you learned something probably. You know, something minor. You'd be like, oh, like, you know, but it helps to improve as an artist. The biggest, I think, humbling thing I ever got, bro, when I was starting this a few years ago, as I was sitting there just rapping whatever, but no pockets. No pockets. Do you think that lyricism and pockets are more important than the beat, and that we need to dive back into real lyricism and pockets?
I don't think you can separate pockets from the beat. I don't think you can sit here and say that a pocket is more important than a beat when, in my opinion, the producer creates the pocket for the rapper in 2024. Like,
if you have a guy that's set up for you, it should blend.
It wasn't uncommon in an old era to go and record some lyrics and then create a beat around that. That's rare in 2024, man. You know, like you might do some reproduction stuff, but for the most part, you're gonna write the song to the beat that you're given from that producer. So in my opinion, 85% of the time, the producer is going to create the pocket and the artist is just going to, you know, kind of go with it. That's my opinion anyway. You know, there's a lot of different people that will say a lot of different things.
Yeah, you know, and just to like say, we're not dropping names, but I feel like to co-align what I'm trying to say so I don't get off track is I think that people now are so distracted by other things that we have forgotten pockets and lyricism. Personally. Where I'm a versatile rapper. I am nobody. I know that.
Wouldn't say that.
No, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of, you know, what I have to show for resume, it doesn't matter because I've worked with artists with over 1 million followers who can't sell 5 tickets. I swear.
I believe you.
And that's it. Numbers don't mean anything, you know. It's all what your brand is and what your image is.
Men lie, women lie, numbers lie too.
We all lie. We all got to play dirty. California, if you want to survive and have a house, I mean, you got to have 2 jobs and a little fraud on the side. Don't lie to me. If I see you living over in Downey in a 2-story, 4-bedroom, 2-car garage, homie, bruh, you ain't just working a 9 to 5. Like, you know, like, okay, let's dive in here. We're diving in, guys. And if you're just tuning in too, we are on KQBH LP in Los Angeles, California, on 101.5, a community service of the Boyle Heights Arts Conservatory, broadcasting live on your FM dial and streaming on KQBHLA.com. And tonight I'm here with my guest, Henry A.Z., and we're going to be showcasing some of his music here later on in the show. But we've already had a good, you know, see, look, I feel like we've built a lot and we've grown just a little bit just from small conversation. But to lead off from that, ask you about the rollout. Where do you think hip hop is at right now? Where do you see it going to 2030?
Mm.
And here's the thing. I'm curious. You had rock in the 80s, you had grunge in the 90s, and like the 2000s was kind of like, well, like alternative, I guess you could say, was the dominant. 2010s was like rap, and like pretty much rap. Rap's always been around, but I feel like we're switching genres right now where there's just so much subgenre. 2030, do you think hip hop's still going to be the number one genre?
I think it will. Yeah, I do. I think it will still be the number one genre, but I think it will be. I think you'll have people who are sitting there saying, this isn't hip hop anymore. So I personally believe that in the year 2030, it will still be hip hop is on top. But I think it's going to be a combination of hip hop and rock music and a little bit of alternative. You can't forget jazz, because jazz is like one of the biggest parts of hip hop. And so I think you're going to have such a fusion like that we see now. We see so many different genres starting to blend into hip hop that at a certain point, I think people in the year 2030 will probably stop calling it hip hop, if I'm being real with you.
Yeah, because like right now, shout out to my boy in studio. We got Kuya out here. He's about to get his show popping off. The Lost Element, man, taking over my slot. We're trying to blend boom bap and funk in a music festival, where we're trying to study the genres now at the time of the day when it's appropriate. Boom bap is more lo-fi study, where you're like, say, college dorm or office, where you just got the lo-fi boom bap. Like, I'll tap in on a lo-fi beat, right? Okay, well, funk, that brings out the night owls. So as soon as that sun goes down, you pop on that Xavier Wolf, like that funk.
I get it.
So now there's so many... Sir, shout out Xavier Wolf. And shout out to all the dope funk artists we got coming. We got Michael and Pat Ron coming from all the way from Dallas, Texas, man. How did we do that? And we got to get Ease out here next. Ease is coming up next. But with that, it's just a blend of trying to figure out what's going on. And that's why I ask you that question, because you've been in the music industry long enough to see just enough and understand just enough. Like even small conversations we had before the show, right? Just something so small like that. Like, do you think now it's more about studying what hip-hop has provided in 50 years, or do you think it's more of let's keep expanding on what we can do with it?
It has to be keep expanding on what we can do with it. It has to be, because otherwise it's just an idea at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see the artists that are coming up now and a lot of the new school cats other than myself, I don't see them letting hip-hop die out. I don't see anybody letting hip hop, become something that is fading.
I know we've brought him up a couple times, but even Juice is a prime example, bro. Like, he's been relevant like early 90s all the way through, like that's right there where like those are people that like it's like an example like Jeezy says with Mac Dre. Hyphy won't die until you let it die. So, if you continue to pass on that hyphy culture or that tradition or whatever it may be, it's not going to die until you let it die, Right. Exactly.
Right.
So, just to back on this, with your love of hip-hop, do you think it's in a good state?
It's a tough question, I think we had a conversation even last time we were on air together, and I think you asked me how I felt about the Drake and Kendrick situation.
And I think I hit you even with that little follow-up just recently.
I think you did. And I'll be honest, I think hip-hop is in a weird state right now. Not bad. Be careful on how you guys clip this, you people who are going to take this video. But it's in a weird state right now, because the truth being, I think what Drake and Kendrick did was bad for hip-hop. Hot take. I think it was bad for hip-hop. You can talk about wanting to raise the bar high. You can talk about wanting to create competition with one another. That's not what I felt. That's not what I saw from this battle. I felt a mudslinging contest, and I've said this multiple times. I felt a mudslinging contest between two fathers who have kids after they're gone that are going to have to live with their words and their mistakes. And so I didn't respect either side of that battle, bro. Like, I've gone on record to say that I think J. Cole won
He did.
You know, you avoid the drama, you stay out of it, you win, bro. You win in my book.
I swear, I just saw something like 2 hours ago. I think he released I think it might have been a song. It was in quotations. I don't know what I read talking about his pen game. Name another rapper that can ride his Gazelle kickback bike through Times Square and no one bothers him.
Only not famous rappers can do that.
Exactly. That's the thing. And I think the best part about what he did there was he set an example for like younger artists.
The beef almost. Like, what happened in the beef? Like, that's...
Well, look what happened with Tupac and Biggie. Right? I mean, like, look what happened there, you know? Like, that's like beef leads to blood. You know, I've recently squashed some beef. Like, it wasn't even beef, but it was squashed. You know, we worked it out because it could have led to something more where, you know.
It could have led to beef, right?
Well, it would, yeah. It would have led to, you know, people getting in ears and, you know, it's just he said, she said. So it's like, let's stop it before it becomes something more.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's also, too, with, like, hip-hop, which is crazy, is we all have, like, this, like, understanding we think we have of it, but we don't.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I'd say it's in a weird state. To answer your question directly, I think it's in a weird state, and I think that we are going to find out where it goes next. It's not in a bad one, though. Don't misinterpret it.
Oh, no, definitely. No, never. It's...
Especially musically. We're in a great place right now.
Oh, no, we are in a great place. There's a lot of... Man, you know who I tapped in before we go on break here? I tapped back in with Twisted Insane today. I was like, what's my guy doing? Right? I saw he was number 2 on a chart next to Slim Shady. I was like, my boy must be chopping up some bars. Like 4,000 plays on an album that's been out for... I'm like, wait, what? Like, that's where I feel like we're forgetting the core of hip-hop. I mean, Twisted Insane's been out since 2004, 2003. We've got tracks with Tech Nine.
Right.
You know, I mean, like...
If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. And then that's the thing, too, where, like, you can really see a real artist. Like, it doesn't matter if you are signed by a big label. Like, who are you as a person and an artist, and how did you get to this point to be an artist?
Here's the thing, too. We're experiencing something right now in the music industry that we've never seen before, because we didn't... Before the streaming era, we didn't understand the streaming era. Now we live in the streaming era.
And we live in an algorithm and AI.
Right. And now what we're actively seeing is Apple is phasing out things like iTunes, right? So iTunes is now becoming a thing of the past. Let me get this off. This is interesting. Guys like Twisted Insane probably make a decent amount of money from stuff like iTunes. Core followings going to purchase music for you, things of that, right? That's how a large percentage of us underground artists who aren't mainstream Drake level yet go and get their money, is they sell real records. And so iTunes, my belief is that Apple is getting sick of paying us smaller artists who can pull 30, 50,000 people to go buy something. They're getting sick of cutting that check for us. They're phasing out iTunes. And now you have artists who are real lyricists like Twisted Insane who are sitting there not doing the numbers that they're supposed to be doing because, in my opinion, for lack of a better term, the industry is gatekeeping them.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing too. Like with
he's not a new artist either. You got to keep that in mind.
No,
these are established artists who are getting gatekept right now.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about artists. I mean, even bro, me and him went to Thopfest, and who's hosting the stage inside the bar? Murs. Like living legends. Murs been around since what, like 94, 95?
95,
like, right? Like, you know, like what? Like, shout out to Murs, though, giving back to the underground. Like, big shout out to our boy for doing that with 60 East over there and giving back to that community. But like you say, like, that right there is an example. Like, it doesn't kill me. Like, I can't walk up to Murs and be like, what are you doing? You know, like,
right.
But it's where, like you say, like, that was a good way, like, gatekeeping, you know?